Here.
Mayor Willis,
Here.
Nick Barbknick,
Here.
you do have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Having had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from September 24?
I will make that motion after reviewing the minutes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we have any updates to the agenda? I'm not aware of any. Hearing none, we'll move on through the agenda. Action item number 2, GM Land and Cattle Company LLC and City Westfield Tournament Trail Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement.
Yeah, for the record, John Nail, Director of Public Works. Gain on that's high. So this is a road impact fee credit agreement associated with the Spring Mill Trails Market Center project. For reference, that is located between Ditch and Casey Road on the north side of State Road 32. Sorry, I'm got to get my aerial up here. So it's this parcel between Ditch and the remnant piece of Casey Road. Per their zoning, per the 32 overlay, they're doing an extension of Tournament Trail. Historically, we have provided road impact fee credits as a requirement to build Tournament Trail. The road impact fee credit amount is in the amount of $1,199,939.67. Engineering staff has reviewed this cost estimate. We agree with the cost of construction, and we would ask the board to approve this road impact fee credit agreement. Any questions? Just as a quick reminder, the developer gets credited only what they generate, so we are not coming out of pocket for this. This is strictly as they generate the road impact fee, they'll get credited back for construction of this infrastructure.
Okay, perfect. So it sounds like we're just incurring costs as they are actually incurred.
Correct, yeah. They actually come out of pocket to build the infrastructure up front, and then as road impact fees are generated, we reimburse them over time.
And you said this, I just want to make sure this is consistent with how we've done all the others on that, right?
That's correct, yep.
Makes sense to me. Do we have any further questions on this?
So, just a technical, it just goes over just between the two roads, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It extends from the existing intersection of Tournament Trail and Ditch due east. It does tie into Casey Road. There's an exhibit on the document, but yeah, it's essentially the Tournament Trail piece and then some 32 path frontage that's also required with the 32 overlay. That's the infrastructure that they're constructing. Yep. Same as we've treated it for other developments along 32 with this requirement.
Just be a stop there?
For the time being, I think we will likely be building a signal here in the future. Don't have a timeline on that, but we always monitor some of these intersections, and as we start to see potential issues, we'll likely have a signal there in the future.
And then who verifies completion at the end?
So our inspection staff will have a dedicated construction inspector on the project. They'll review the infrastructure construction, make sure it's per our standards, and then sign off on it.
Cool. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the impact fee credit agreement.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 3, RFP award recommendation, towing and wrecker services for Westfield Police Department.
Good afternoon, Eric Grimes, Assistant Chief for the record. On August 27th, we proposed our RFP to go out for updated towing and wreckers. Due to the law change July 1, they were due September 24th. Myself and legal went through all the submissions we had, and we've recommended 3 of our submissions to go onto our updated wrecker rotation for the police department. That'd be Miller's Towing, Bannon and Sons, and Paddocks are the 3 we're recommending. We're just seeking the board's approval for those 3 to go on our wrecker rotation.
Thank you so much. And so this is just the regular cadence of updating who's servicing this, right?
We haven't done it in quite some time.
Okay.
Several years. And then the law changed July 1, so we want to refresh our towing. Really all of it, because we were outdated. So that was the main purpose of it. And we only had 2 on rotation. We'd like to add a 3rd. We're growing. We have more needs. quite frankly, and the record companies were getting stressed with just 2, so we're adding the 3rd one. And after vetting those that came in, the 3 we've identified would be the best fit here for our department for the city.
And can you help me understand as if I'm a citizen, there's 3 towing companies. How do I find out who towed my car and where it goes? Where would I go to the city website? I'm sure it'll be on a ticket somewhere or something, but.
Yeah, so all that's communicated with the people on scene. So if it's a police action tow or from a crash or something, either we give the tow company the business card, or it's on the accident report or whatever. So it is communicated to that person where their car's being towed.
Okay.
And I'll add, Nicole with my office worked closely with Chief Grimes on this, and whoever's operating the agenda is someone. Oh, okay. I thought it was. thought it was the person up there. If you go, I'm sorry.
I thought it was God.
If you go to the
God, can you please?
I really
scroll
thought
down?
it was. If you go to the bottom, she prepared this memo, and at the bottom, she kind of listed out 2 action items at the very bottom that Chief Grimes just described would be approving and directing the new rotation list, and then authorizing the police chief to execute the attached agreement with these 3 contractors. So if you guys see fit, those would be probably 2 separate items to make it as clean as possible.
Thank you. What other questions do we have on this one before we go to that? All right. Do we have a motion to approve and direct the Westfield Police Chief to issue a new rotation list for towing?
I'll make the motion to approve action item number 3.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now do we have a second motion to authorize and direct the Westfield Police Chief to execute the attached agreements?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Thank you so much. Action item number 4, Mark and Marcia Nye and City of Westfield, agreed findings and judgment.
I can speak a little bit about this one. This is an agreed findings and judgment for an eminent domain case. You guys have approved similar decisions in the past. Basically, this was a complaint that we had filed to acquire some area. We ended up going through litigation with this. We had a mediation with the Nyes, and we had already paid in the court-appointed appraiser's amount, so we were able to appropriate the area. But we did have a successful mediation with outside legal counsel, John and myself, and we came to a decision for compensation that we thought was fair, given other properties nearby, and considering everything, we thought it was a good outcome for the city. So basically, this would just settle the case. There were some outstanding property tax issues that are also addressed in here that we had to pay since the property had been appropriated. That would let us be reimbursed from the property owners for that. Basically, just let us take the property as needed and pay the just compensation and dismiss the case.
Makes sense to me. While dragging these out through court isn't always the best way. It creates the fairest path. Any other questions on this? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, iBeach Holding Partners LLC in Westfield Collective Perimeter Trail Development Agreement.
Yeah, John Nail again. So this is related to the iBeach development, and we've done similar things in the past where, as you guys are aware, we have a roundabout project at 181st at Grand Park Boulevard that'll be going to construction next summer. That project includes some path work adjacent to the iBeach development. The iBeach development would be required to construct the perimeter trails along their frontage. Given our pending construction work, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have them construct trails that are only going to get torn out and then reconstructed with our roundabout project. So we worked out an agreement with the developer to, in lieu of providing the required trails, we would build them. They are going to compensate us in the amount of $34,691.80, which is the fair construction cost price that we felt comfortable with in installing those perimeter trails on their behalf during construction of the roundabout. So in other words, they're still paying the city for construction. We just find some efficiencies by doing it as part of the roundabout project rather than having them install it with a different contractor. So that's what you're approving with this agreement, is simply the payment in lieu of construction of perimeter trails for I-Beach 31. Any
That's
questions?
great. That's really proactive. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, we have a public hearing, action item number 6, Garmong Build, Operate, Transfer Development 2, LLC in the city of Westfield, a public-private agreement for the building, operating, and transferring of the Westfield Police Headquarters project.
Yes, for the record, Danielle Carey-Tolan here to present you our BOT agreement for Garmong Development 2, right, LLC. Just to give you a little bit of background before the public hearing is that this budget, or this GMP did come in roughly about $1.1 million under budget, which is exciting for this. We had approximately 5 bidders per major trade, which is exciting to hear as, you know, developments kind of have slowed in the past, and to see bidders out there kind of excited about building again, that's good. So we had a good mix of people. We're also, because of being under budget, we're also able to look at all of our alternates that we weren't able to previously look out for the build out of potentially an EOC, an outdoor area and landscaping, and the main entry monument sign as well. So those are good. So today, you're just approving the resolution to award the BOT agreement to Garmong Bot Development 2 LLC. Any other questions I'm happy to answer, or I have a team behind me that can answer as well.
Thank you so much. So the additional add-ons, what process would those go through to make sure we satisfy them?
They're in there.
They're in there?
They're in the BOT. They're already in the agreement.
Even though they're above the GMP?
They're within the GMP,
God bless America.
yes. As they told me behind me.
All right, perfect. Well, no, this is a great way to do this. Westfield isn't in the construction business, we're in the public safety business, and we want to buy a police station, not construction risk, and this helps us do that with the private sector's ingenuity. Any questions on this before we go to the public hearing?
So simply put, we just got a little bit more for the same amount, right?
Yes, a lot more.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you add in the alternatives that we cut, right?
Okay, well, a lot is better than a little.
Right.
Competition matters.
Yes.
Competition matters. All right. Let's do it. I'll make a motion.
Well,
to-
hold on, we got to have a public
Oh,
hearing.
sorry, sorry. Open the public hearing.
We'll now open a public hearing, if anyone would like to remonstrate on the Garmong BOT Development 2, limiting public comment to 2 minutes. Anyone?
I think the audience is made up of Garmon and city employees. I think we're okay.
All right.
Garmon, you want to remonstrate against yourselves or anything? Skinder, do you want to talk about how bad they are? Okay, I think we're good.
All right. Hearing none, we will now close the public hearing at 1:16 on the 15th. Now, do we have a motion to approve?
And do we have, I know the
yeah.
resolution kind of popped up recently after the agenda was published. Do we have a resolution number for it yet?
Kim will assign a resolution number after the meeting.
Okay.
They do have a copy of that.
I'll just
Nick
make
does,
sure
and-
to read off the resolution name, then to say we're approving resolution, whatever it's titled. Thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we approve a resolution of the City of Westfield Board of Public Works awarding a public-private agreement for Westfield Police Headquarters project.
And I will make a second for that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all. Now, having had a chance to review the consent agenda, I'd like to make a motion to approve it as presented.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Department reports. Fire.
Good afternoon, Rob Gaylor, Westfield Fire Department. Busy month of September 2025. One thing that I really want to point out here that really kind of surprised me when I looked at the numbers, and we compared September 24 to September 25, seen an almost 20% increase in our calls for service. So that is, again, just a snapshot in time, but just talking about the work that the men and women at the fire department are doing. We have already almost taken as many calls for service right now today as we did last year as a whole. So we are seeing an increase in our call volume pretty substantially. Right now we're projected to be about 10 to 15% over where we ended last year. And typically the question is, oh, what's the calls? What's standing out? And nothing is jumping off the page as for why. It's just an increase in call volume. I'm happy again to report for the second month in a row that our calls to our ECFs are actually lower, again, comparatively than where they were last year. So much so that if we were to add August and September's together, it would be just 3 calls over the month of August in '24. So substantial decrease in those calls, and happy to answer any questions that you folks may have.
So it sounds like the increase is just following the trend line to growth in Westfield.
Absolutely.
generally.
That's exactly where we're pinning those. More people, more calls for service. Again, nothing is glaring any uptick in one certain call type versus another call type. So
I just have a comment for a couple people here in the room. Obviously, now that we've gotten the budget approved and compensation is now set, I need a contract soon from the fire and the police department, for a union contract to set the next 3 years. I have mentioned that to the fire. I have not talked to anybody at the police side yet, but if you would please, both you and Chief Keene, let your unions know that we're running out of time. It was on me up to this point. Now we're on their clock, so the sooner they get that to me, the faster we can get that approved.
yeah, I will have a conversation with our DVP, and he will get that to you within the next couple weeks.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Westfield Police.
Members of the board, Sean Keene, Chief, Westfield Police Department. If you have any specific questions about this, the current monthly report, I'm happy to go over it, but I would like to kind of inform you of how we're going to change this report starting in January, because in a few ways, this is kind of inadequate what we're giving you. I'd like to explain that. One of the things that we've been working on is January 1, we're going to start with a redistricting of our patrol areas. With that, we've been looking at calls for service, as well as the geographical boundaries and how our demographics have changed, our population has changed in the different neighborhoods, so we're revising that. So when we look to this report, it's not really good for doing that, and I'll try to explain that. If we go through, can we scroll to the next couple pages, please? Sorry. So, keep going. So, right here, if we can get that in there. I know it's not going to be
Hard to
great.
read.
But I think when you look at this report, what this is all activity by the police officers, right? This is traffic stops, discretionary traffic stops, maybe security checks. But what this doesn't tell you is what are the dispatch calls for service, right? Because the majority of these calls, if you look at them, they're discretionary, right? When I decide to make a traffic stop, it's discretionary. It doesn't tell me Specifically, if I look at one of our districts, how many calls for service did we have in that particular district? So what we've been working on is separating these so that we're just looking at what are the dispatch calls in this geographical area versus that geographical area. So what you're going to see, it'll be actually February for the January month, it'll be the first one that we will start separating this information so you can actually see calls for service. And it's a lot different than just giving you, it's good to know this, we'll still report on this, all the activity done by all the officers, but it's important for us to measure that as the city grows so that we can know if we need to make changes to our patrol areas. So that's going to be a different in this report as we go into next year, something we've been working on. Again, this is good information to know how your officers are spending their time, but it's not great if we're looking at growth and trying to measure what changes we need to make. So we'll be making changes to this report in the future. So with that, are there any questions on the current month?
No,
anything-
that's really helpful on the, as you're planning the report, there's just so much. You can buy all the data you want out there, right, to try to be predictive about public safety statistics so that your folks aren't buried in Excel every day. But I'm sure the deeper you guys dig into that, the more it'll help you.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to see some data on what the crime rate is, for that month. How does it compare to year over year, going back, say, 2 or 3 years?
That's in this report.
Yeah.
If you look to it,
Just,
if we go to the month, go back, I can show you this month versus this month of last year. UCR. There it is. So here's our monthly, the offense report. It uses the FBI's uniform crime reporting. So you can see in September this year, we had 47 versus 49 in September of last year. Again, these are incident reports, so this only counts as if it qualifies. So these can vary greatly from month to month. But what we really want to see are those calls for service. So how many times did we get called for a disturbance, an argument, an accident, a police report? We want to see that type of thing. How many times are the community calling us to do something in this district? That's what's important. Our UCR stats are always here. Like I said, you can see each month. And then with each month, you can see the comparison to the month, the year prior. So
and you and I can take it offline, maybe our next one-on-one we can talk about, but I'd like to see something that, by district, a crime rate for each district, and I'd like to see a year-over-year comparison. So maybe just a formatting and how I'm looking at the information. I got to do too much math in my head. I'd just like to see, September of last year it was 3 instances, this year it's 2, decrease of 10%. Just something that we can look at real quickly, and then also identify where are the pockets of trouble in our city. Understanding what districts those are happening in, again, helps you understand strategy. Maybe I need more resources in this district versus that one. I think it just tells a good story.
you're exactly right. The difficulty with that's going to be until January.
We won't have any data.
We'll have new geographical areas, so we'll have to.
Yeah, we'll be creating it from scratch, but that's what we should be trending towards, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And remind me, it's been a while since I looked at this, but there's the translating this into the federal DOJ numbers takes years to catch up to the crime statistics.
They've gotten a little better now to
Yeah.
where it's supposed to be every quarter. They haven't quite managed that. It's usually been about a year behind. You're looking at your stats, but they promise going forward they're supposed to be getting us quarterly numbers, so you can compare to other cities. But yeah, you can go onto the FBI's website and you can see all this. It's uniform crime reporting. It's summary based versus the incident based is what it's incident based versus the summary based what we used to use. So it's a little updated, but it's gotten a little better than what it used to be.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
And I've got a question, because I was thinking about this the other day when I was driving by. I saw a police officer who was looking down US 31, so I'm assuming he's trying to pick off speeders or what have you. If we pull somebody over or proactively, say, on US 31, and it's somebody that's just traveling through the city, is that count as crime committed in Westfield, or how is that measured?
Yeah, so if it's in our geographical boundaries for which we report to the FBI, then it's counted by us. Yeah. I will tell you, for example, one of the things we will be generating every year is a use of force report. We just finished that for last year, and the results of that were pretty promising for us. We had a total of 12 incidents for an entire year. And of that, one of the things that I asked that we measure is how many of those are people that are from outside of our community. So out of that 12, 7 were from outside of our community. But for an department our size, serving a city the size that we do, and only have 12 incidents of use of force, it's less than like 0.1% of all the encounters that we have we ever used force in the last year. So that's a pretty impressive statistic that we intend to publish on our website, along with some of the other information we have with our strategic plan as we go forward, so.
Yeah, I think that's real important data to understand. Is crime being committed from residents within our city, or is this coming in from outside? I'd love to see, and I don't know how we do this, but Flock, for example, if we're picking stuff up on Flock of somebody coming through our community that committed a crime, say in Indianapolis, that's going against us, a hit on our crime rates, but it'd be nice to understand, again, what's coming from proactive policing, what's coming from crimes actually being created in our community and by residents versus visitors. I mean, I think all that just tells a great story. I think helps us do a better job of policing and protecting our residents. So.
Absolutely.
And to have just 5 local residents,
That's amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's
it's
amazing.
5, but it's pretty
Yeah, when you're talking
insignificant
tens of
when you
thousands or.
talk about the numbers.
Yeah.
And rumor has it, Chuck, you had 4 of the 5, so that's even better.
Well, then it makes the community even safer.
That's we only got what 2 knuckleheads, right?
It's pretty easy. The data doesn't lie. But I think the thing that's critical is that we have 2 major arteries, north, south, east, west, and it's just something that we just have to deal with, and it's not going to get any better. I mean, the traffic is going to continue to increase. I think the good news is they're hopefully driving through, not stopping.
But I'm not afraid to lean into it either. I mean, I want a reputation where people know you come into Westfield, you better be behaving because they're not going to mess around with you. They're going to hold you accountable. So I'm not afraid of leaning into that. It would tell a good story to understand, again, where is this crime coming from and how are we getting this crime? I mean, are we being called into a scene, or are we proactively nabbing them through technology? That stuff really tells you a lot.
Yeah, and the report going forward, we'll do a better job of explaining that, so.
But the numbers up on the screen, I mean, there's a significant increase year over year.
Would you say the trend line similarly follows the fire calls for service and the growth of the city?
Yeah, so the numbers that we've looked at as far as calls for service so far, it tends to align with the percentage of population increase. When we look at just calls for service, again, this isn't calls for service, this is all activity. But when we separate that, what we've seen so far, it's about in line with our population increase.
Thank you.
That's why we're building a new police station.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Public Works.
Yeah, so speaking of, if I can get out of the full screen here. So speaking of major arterials, the east-west one, State Road 32, is going to be opening at the end of the month between Poplar and Union. That'll be 1 lane in each direction. Just want to remind folks that it is still an active construction zone, although traffic will be able to flow from 31 east and west through our downtown over to Noblesville at the end of the month. So excited to get that back open. Still have quite a bit of work to do on that project. It will continue in through the end of 2026, but so far made some pretty good progress on what was able to be done within that closure area. We have 2 roundabouts still under construction. 171st and Ditch is ongoing, as well as Town Road and Old 146th. Both are making good progress there. I know gotten some positive feedback on the Ditch and 171st roundabout because we did make the decision to keep traffic north-south open on Ditch throughout construction. I know folks have appreciated that. That was really our fire department necessitating that need to get up to 32 quickly from Station 81. So excited to get those wrapped up later this year. And then I do want to give a shout out to our street department. They'll be working on some additional demolition work on Park Street on behalf of economic development and constructing another temporary parking lot in those areas as you continue to see redevelopment work in that section of our downtown. Again, street department self-performing that work saves us a boatload of money, so it saves our taxpayers a boatload of money by doing it cheaper than a contractor would otherwise. And then lastly, just for your awareness, we have a snow removal RFP that's out right now. I'm expecting for the November Board of Public Works meeting to have a formal recommendation in front of you all for approval of a selection of that proposer. As a reminder, we do a 3-year contract for snow removal, and this is strictly talking about our neighborhood streets. So Our street department, Public Works, does all the snow removal on our arterials and collectors, our thoroughfare roadways. But for larger snow events in the local streets and in subdivisions in our city, we do hire a contractor to do that snow removal. So this RFP will select the most responsive proposer, and we will have a contract with them for the next 3 years. I do want to point out that this particular RFP does have some better teeth, I would say, to damages done to mailboxes, sod repair, that type of stuff. It also, I think, compensates our contractors a little more fairly for events that last over 6, 7, 8 hours, where we have large snow events and they have to go to subdivisions multiple times to keep those streets clear. They get compensated a little more fairly with the way we set up this RFP. So excited to see which contractors will respond to the RFP and then have a recommendation for the board next month.
Thank you. So this would never happen, but let's say my sod got ripped up. How would I contact the city to?
You will contact Public Works. We have a Public Works email account. You can also go to our incident reporting through CRM on our website. Either one will come back to me and my staff, and then we will be working with the contractor directly to get those repairs done. I do want to point out with sod repair specifically, maybe your sod's damaged in January. Doesn't make a lot of sense to repair it in January because it's not going to grow anyway. So we wait till the growing season starts, and then that contractor will mobilize to get all those repairs made. And this RFP specifically calls out those repairs have to be made within 4 weeks of the growing season starting, or else there's liquidated damages involved. So again, gives us a little more teeth to keep those contractors accountable.
Good to know. I was just fixing the sod myself.
No, please contact us. We will take care of it. We will make sure it gets taken care of.
Thank you. Any other questions or agenda items? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.